Hey folks, welcome to this map making tutorial. We're going to make a Wizard's Tower battle mat pretty quickly, hopefully, using Worldographer. I'm Joe Wetzel, the creator of the program. And to get started, we're going to go to File and New Battle Mat Dungeon Map. And that brings up this dialog here. And we're going to say that we're going with a relatively narrow but tall tower. I'm going to say 25 feet, so we're going to want 5 squares across. So we'll do 6 just to give us a buffer between each one. And we'll do 6. We'll do this in a landscape kind of format. So we'll go with 18 across to start with. I think this will fit it all. We might have to add one or remove one. And then 12 high should be good. Actually, let's just do 19 and 13. I think I'm going to want that extra one just for the other side of the edge of the towers. So we're just doing a blank map, although we do have functionality to generate a tower as well, which you can try out, and which will kind of auto-place some things in the tower for you. So right now we've just got a blank map, which, like I said, is 19 by 13 squares. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start by making some circle shapes, so we can go to the shapes drawer, we can hit arc oval, and with some of these settings, a little bit. Now I narrowed the default size of the screen just so it records well in a smaller area, so it's easy for folks to watch. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the fill texture to be the floor. What type of flooring do we want? And this does expand off of the screen, but you'll be able to see. I'm going to do a light cobblestone. And then for the walls, if you will, we're going to do a darker cobblestone, let's say. And we're going to make that 15% of the size of a given square on the map. And we're going to snap these to the grid. So this snaps it to the nearest, to a grid edge corner, as well as halfway across and even a quarter way across or 3/4 of the way across. So with that setup out of the way, if I do want this to be 25 feet across, and these are 5-foot squares, I basically want the center of the circle to be smack dab in the middle of this square here, I believe. And then we come out to here. And that gives us our 25 foot across tower level. And then we just can scroll over a little bit and do another one. So I'm going to deselect this one. And then select another one. And I think it's going to be here. But we'll see if we get it right. So I did need to. So I'm going to hold down Control and drag that point so it gets a little bit closer there. And then I'll deselect again. And then I will place one here. And then the other edge, I believe, goes there. And this time it looks like I got that one right. So then we're going to go down to the second part of the map. We're going to do the same thing here. So we're going to deselect first of all. I can also do a Control D to deselect as long as I have focus on the program itself. Control D and center to the edge. So we've got that one now. And then deselect again. And then center of this one. And that's going to go out to here. And so those are the levels. Those are the various levels of our tower. Now, what I like to do is I like to color code the levels in a way, at least the basement level and the first level, we can kind of color code, and we can go any direction with these. Which one do we want to have as being the basement level, if you will, and which one do we want to have as the first level. So I'm going to deselect this. We're going to do polygon this time. And then what I'm going to do is, well, first, yeah, um, let's do, no, we're going to do a texture. We're going to do a brownish kind of, we have something called a mountain floor texture, which I kind of like as dirt. And so I'm going to pick that. And I'm going to kind of make it, I'm going to make this corner one down here is kind of, well, no, let's do this corner as the basement, if you will. And I'm going to mark it there to here to there. Oh, I want this to have no border. And then here. Now I can use this change the z-axis to lower that and put it underneath the others. And then here, this level here is going to be our main entrance, if you will, our main first level. And so we're going to deselect, and we're going to change this texture to, we have what's called a forest floor texture, which I kind of like as actually a grassy type thing. So we're going to put that down to one corner. We're going to go to here, come down to here, come down to here, and then likewise go and lower that down. And then for the other levels, we're going to deselect again. This time we're just going to do a color. I'm going to do a bluish color. I like this one down there. And we're going to do from here over to here, and then down to here, and finally over to here. And we're going to put that down to the bottom so it ends up being underneath the other levels. Okay, now I've shown some of the videos of us using some of the expanded icon sets. I might add in some of those here as well, but for the moment I'm just going to try to stick to the base icons, if you will. We're going to put a great big, not a double door, we're going to put a single door here, and we have, kind of a couple of different finishes to choose from. I'm going to choose this particular one, no particular reason, and I'm going to rotate that like 45, no, okay, I guess I went 135 degrees, and that goes there. I could, if I wanted to be particular about things, I could select this shape again and then revise the shape so that it only covers an area. If I go back to the shapes drawer, basically so that the circle doesn't really complete, particularly the outer circle doesn't complete, and I can set it to have an extent angle of around 350 degrees, so it goes almost all the way around, and figure out what is the start angle, so I can kind of have not this little bit of gray, which is pretty much covered up by the icon, but in the interest of time, we're going to not do, you know what, I talked about it and everything, now I feel guilty about not doing it, so we're going to select the shape, and we're going to do it. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit so we can see the whole circle. Then we're going to, like I said, set the extent angle to, say, 350 degrees. That's not going to be enough, so it's actually going to be more like 340, but we'll get to the specifics once we figure out. So if we go 230, nope, okay, so we're going to have to go like 290, let's see. No, oh, it goes the other way around. Okay, so we're going to go like 130. Alright, so now I can just lower that a little bit, get it to the point where, so we can see that. Oh, I want to go the other way. Okay, so that's how you can kind of make it so that that wall isn't showing underneath the icon. Okay, so that's our front door essentially. We're going to, we can go a couple of different ways about this. Do we want to have a wizard's tower? Or do we want to have a a guard tower or something along those lines. You know, I've done enough wizards towers lately. I've done also guards towers as well. Um, but I'm gonna make this into a guard tower. So you know, on our main level, this initial level, we're gonna just call this essentially. It's gonna well, we're gonna make that our dining hall kitchen on the first level, and then we'll go from there. But we're going to divide up, or no, I want to put in the stairs and figure out where the stairs are. Now, we've got more icons in some of our other icon packs, but we can figure out what type of stairs do we want. Do we want kind of a curving stair? Do we want, we've got a couple of different stairs. These are showing up just because there's a couple of stairs next to these little mini tower things, but those are for a different type of map. Really, I think what we're going to stick with is the circle. We're going to have a circle type thing, and we can smack it in the middle, although that will divide up the space and make it less effective if we go with that. So I'm actually going to stick this down here. And the idea is that there's stairs leading up and the stairs leading down, both, depending on which direction you want to go from that landing in the top center of this. So I'm going to stick one of those there, and we'll stick the others in a moment for each level. We'll have it roughly in the same spot. And what I can do, though, is I want to show you going to the shapes. And again, we can do the same sort of thing. So we're going to have this shape. We don't want to have any fill though. We just want the wall. And so we stick that there, and we stick this here. Oh, what happened? Why am I not seeing? Okay, something. I guess it didn't detect that click or something like that. Let me delete this. Let's do it again. One there, one here. There we go. Now I just need to drag this point a little bit so that it's expanded out. By default, when things are on the same layer, so Worldographer doesn't really deal too much with layers, but by default, it tries to abstract that away from you, so you don't have to really think about it too much. But occasionally you do, and this is one of those times. So in this case, we're going to want to put this on a different layer because features are drawn above shapes if they're on the same layer. I'm sorry, and furthermore, features are on a different layer. So I'm going to put this on the grid layer. Actually, you know what? Let's create a new layer. Layers. Let's select the features, and let's add something above this and above features. So this will be our new layer that we add on there. And so we'll go into shapes now, and we'll have an option for putting this above features. So that's where this shape is because it's currently selected, and you saw it jump. Now down here with this stuff here with the exit angle and all that, we have to push this so it will. I just want to open this up some more now so I know which way we're going. All right. No, I wanted to have a little bit. Okay, so we're just playing with those settings so that we get something that looks right to us. Another thing that you can do that can make your maps look a little bit more professional or look a little bit better is you can add a drop shadow to your shapes. So I can say drop shadow and change the color to black, and that's a nice little effect that makes things a little bit better. And we can do the same thing to the outer wall as well later. I'm going to turn that off just because I want the video to not run too long. I don't want to go back and edit all those shapes and add those, but adding the drop shadow just kind makes the walls kind of pop and be more visible as walls. Okay, I'm going to zoom out some, and we're going to put in our other stairways. So we've got this one here, got that one there, this one here, coming over, this one here, and this one here. Then we're going to go back to our shapes drawer, and on the shapes drawer we're going to pick the arc oval tool again, and we're going to hit the center point there, and then this edge point, and then deselect, center point, edge point, deselect, center point, corner of the circle, deselect, center, corner of the circle, deselect, and then finally the last one here. So there's that. Now, I will say one thing to add potentially is deselect this and go back to the lines. And, you know, it might make sense for us to do something like a line from here to here, just showing, hey, this is up only because we're in the basement there. And I can change this line cap to a butt cap so that it doesn't kind of connect, but then it runs into problems on the other side. So then what I can do is I can do the snap points to grid, turn that off, so I can be a little bit more precise with this. And likewise for the upstairs, for the roof, essentially. Actually, I guess this one would be the roof. Deselect, and then I can pick here to here, and have that. So it's blocked off, so it's only down for this one, whereas the other ones are up and down. All right, let's zoom out back out a little bit here, and in this case, you know, the question is how much detail, how large is the staff here? How much detail do we want? That sort of thing. I'm going to go to features. I'm going to do tables. And so we've got a number of built-in tables and chairs into this whole thing. You know, this color door kind of makes me think we should be using this kind of a table. So we can stick a table in there and another table in here. And then what I want to do is I kind of want to have another wall. So go back to the shapes, line, and we can go from here up to there. I'm going to turn back on that, change this back from a butt end to a square end. And, oh, I should also turn on the snap points. And so if I turn on the snap points and then do this and this, there we go. I can just divide it up here and then move that table a little bit more. Features, select the table. I can move this around. Should be able to move around. Okay, I can also do arrow keys to move things around. That also gives you a little bit more precision on things too, if you want to. But you also, oh, another thing is place freely. So having place freely on or off, if that's on, you know, you can place that feature anywhere you want. If it's not on, then it's not going to move until you kind of, it's not going to move freely. You're going to have to, it's only going to move to the quarter point and half point across a tile. Okay, so now that I've got that in there, obviously we need another door. So we're going to pull up the doors and we're going to find that same finished door. This time we're going to rotate it 90 degrees. We don't want to place it freely. We're going to stick it over here. Oh, that's because this particular wall is on the other layer. So we want to take the shapes again, go to select the shape, nope. Select this shape, put this back on the features, or actually the shape should go on above terrain by default. And then that allows this feature to be above that wall. Okay, so now I go to features and I can look for some a big cooking area type thing, and I can rotate this around. So let's make this 270 so it can go here. Now again, I can do, that was with place freely off, so it was kind of trying to lock me into a particular location for that. I'm going to go here with it though. And then we're also going to give our cook a table back there to work from, and we're going to have a more, run down looking table back here because he doesn't need a good one. And we'll turn this a little bit. Let me place it freely. Let me place that on the map, and then we're going to select it because it's going to give us a control here to play with the rotation of that table. And where do we want it exactly? And kind of, we want to try to box it in this area here. We could even put another wall around on top of this. Again, it would help with the shading, and it would also kind of help us to kind of blend this table into things. I don't really like how that's looking there. I'm going to, maybe I will just have it directly across the door, and yeah, I really don't like that. I think I am going to put another wall around here, just because I can. I can even stick this. We can hide a lot of this thing. I can stick it underneath that stairway too, so that it kind of looks like it just blends in with this area back here. Circle shapes are weird sometimes. Okay, I like that it's not sticking out too much from the wall. So this is where I can go back into the shapes and I can say, hey, I want this new shape to be above features, and I want it to be that with no fill and polygon, arc center to this point over here. Oop, didn't quite hit the right spot. There we go. So now that's above that little bit of table. So it looks like the table's kind of built into the wall a little bit, or bumps into the wall or something, which is fine. Or shaved to fit the wall shape, which is good. And then I can add that drop shadow. Like I said, it does make things look a little bit better. Looks like we should put this got to play with this again. So we go like that, and we go like this. Then we go back to our features and move that door up. Just because, I mean, it looks fine like it is actually. Yeah, actually, so we can leave it like that. But we could also move it to the layer above so that it's not a problem. And then, you know, I can go back to shapes. Like I said, it does tend to look better if you give these drop shadows. So I can go into here, I can pick this shape here, and I can say, give it a drop shadow, and then deselect it, and then let us select this circle here, give it a drop shadow. And it again, like I said, adding that extra bit of shadow kind of does make your walls pop a little bit better. Okay, so what's downstairs? You know, we could have a prison cell, you know, obviously, and some storage, and a table for the guard, you know, who's there for the prison. So let's see if we do. Yeah, features is what I wanted, and I think we have bars, something like that. Yeah, here's a nice bar for a jail cell, and we're going to set this to be 90 degrees so that it kind of comes across like this, and we can have kind of 3 of these guys. If I can kind of cheat a little bit here. Kind of trying not to have more than 3. I don't know why. It doesn't really matter. I mean, I could have them overlap and it wouldn't be a big deal. So maybe that's what we'll do is we'll just make these all override the default scale. Make them 105. Make this one 105. And make this one 105. All right. So then we just tweak the positioning of these a little bit. Okay. And again, you can use arrow keys to get more precise with the positioning of things. If you do just an arrow with something selected, it moves it over 1% of a hex. If you hold down the shift while you're using an arrow key, it'll move it 10% of a hex. Just FYI there. All right, so down here we're going to have some straw mats for some beds. So we can just stick a couple of these down here. 1, 2. I'm going to rotate these. So we select 1. Actually, place it freely so I can move it around a bit. So we got 1 there. We got this guy on this side over here, which is going to be kind of dug out. Oh, okay. And then we can go here with this guy. Okay. Yeah, there's no reason why they can't overlap a little bit. So those are our straw mats on the floor, or you could even say that they're straw mats covering a bench if you wanted to be more charitable about things. Like I said, we have some little table over here for our guard. Take one of these. That's way bigger than what I wanted, so I can resize this as well, override the default scale. Let's see what happens when I do 50% of a hex, way too small, or tile I should say. 75%, still small. 100. Yeah, so maybe 100 gives us a little table and a chair. Find a chair that matches. Oh, don't need to override that scale. So place it freely. There you go, and then have one that's rotated, I be 270 up here. And let's select this table, move it up. Maybe we'll make it 110%. And that gives us our guard station, if you will. And then we've got some crates. Just laying about down here. Override. Let's turn that override off. Let's place it freely. And so you can have a few of these crates laying around that are just being used for storage. Okay, so that's our basement level. Let's throw in a window on this level. I like these windows better these days, but we'll give a window area here. Oop, that's probably needs to be put on the other level. So let me Control Z to undo that. Above features, stick one there. Stick one straight across, and you know, we do want to make sure that they can see folks coming from all directions, and you can see that these are fairly narrow. I guess they are 2 feet wide. Maybe ideally we would have resized these down a little bit, but in the interest of time, we'll just go with what we got. So we're going to put one here, and we'll put one up here. And then 135, so we'll put one here. We have a door there, so we'll change this to be like 160. And we'll let us have one here instead. Okay, so those are our windows there, and we'll be applying those throughout. On our other levels, so what are we going to do? So on this level, I think we're just going to throw some bunks, because up above we're going to want to have, you know, some arrow slits and stuff like that. I don't think we have any bunks per se in the default set of icons. I'm going to take this this bed, and you know, we can kind of stack it, if you will. Let's set the rotation. So here we had a rotation of 135. I don't like that. Let's try 150. 150, yeah. So I can go with that, and I can put 2 right next to each other, kind of like that, to give the effect of bunks. Now we do have bunks in some of our other icon sets, so if you're looking for that, if you want that effect to be a little bit better, we've got it in the other icon sets. All right, so 150, what if I go 225? So if I go 225 like this, and we have one here, and another one like that, and then we go with 315. Yeah, that's a lot more than what I needed to do. Let's go 300. Nope. 270. 270 is going to be right there, which actually I think I can get away with by moving the other ones down a little bit. So let's see if we can do that. So select these others. And figure out what is roughly the one that I want there. So that's pretty good like that. Gonna cheat this one away from the wall a touch. That is 211, so let's make it 210 to be even. Let's make this one 210. And then put that back up on top of there. Okay, so if that was 210 and this is 270, let's add another 80 to it, so 350, I guess. Didn't mean to do that. 210. Deselect. Or select a new one to create it. So 350. That, we don't even need to do that. 210 to 270 is only 60. Okay, so I could do 330 actually. 330. There we go. So this is going to give us our 330. Let me take that off just because the bottom one should be out from the wall a touch. And then the next one gets close to the wall. Now if that was 330, I guess the last one can be 30. If my math is right. And shut that out from the wall a little bit. So there you go. So there's our bunks for this level, and yeah, that allows 10 folks to be here, but on the other hand, it could be that they are hot sleeping, where it's a staff of 20 and they are just alternating. So it could be that. And then here, if we wanted to, we can have another level of all of that. We could also have kind of, weapon racks here. Yeah, actually, I'm going to change this up a little bit. I'm going to go back to, we'll do like our weapon racks on, oh, actually, we are sort of running out of spot. Yeah, so we'll do the weapon racks up here. Kind of, so we can have, this, and that was at 30 degrees, so we can do 330. Have another rack there for folks that are training. You can do, one over here, and at 270, and then likewise our windows. Forgot to throw windows on the other level. So I'll take our window, and now we don't want to have our windows at the same spot as our weapon racks. So, we might do these at like at 45. Well, at 0, we got a spot here at 0. We can do 45 over here. And we can do 315 over here. And if we go with 90, but if we go like 120, I think 120 will give us a spot over here, or even 135 down there, I guess, and 45 down here. Or actually, I kind of want extra windows over there, that are closer to the edges. So let's go with like 30 for this. They're closer to the stairway so that there's not as much of a blind spot. That's my point. 330 again. So we got that. And then we can do like, I think 60. I think if we do 60, it'll give us one here. No. Let's look at 70 even. Yeah. So we got 70 on that side, then we want 290 on the other side, just because 360 degrees on a circle. So that gives us a number of windows without much of a blind spot over there. Okay. So back to this level, I was actually leaning to doing kind of like captain's quarters and his lieutenants and that sort of thing. So what I think we'll do is we'll do a shape we'll do a line, and we'll kind of bring it from here to here to here to here. I'm going to turn off the drop shadow because in the interest of time, I just don't want to go back and do drop shadows for all the different lines that we've added. I will make this line join be, we can do bevel or we can do miter. We'll do the miter version of that. And then this will give us kind of 3 little separate rooms, and we'll figure out the details for those in a moment. Let's go with doors. We'll take our same door that we've been using, and we'll set it to 0 degrees. Do one here. We're going to lock it in though. Turn off place freely, I should say. And then go with 90 over here. So we got that, and we got that. And, you know, we can divide this up anyway. Let's see, you know, as I've said in some other videos, I sometimes feel like an interior decorator doing this sort of stuff, but, you know, it still is kind of fun. I'm going to go with a 0 degree rotation. We're going to throw the bed there. Well, let's see. Yeah. So how do I want to divide this up into 3 rooms with, like, you know, kind of 2 bunks each? But then I want to have a desk or something as well. And can I do that in each? These beds are a little big looking. You know, they could be, you know, that's a 7.5 foot long bed. So I'm going to cheat. Override default scale. And I'm going to set this to be 120%. Should be a 6. Oh, that's doing horizontal. Well, so I want the end result to be 100, like 1 1/5. So I'm cheating this down until I get to like a 1 1/5, which I'm not there yet. That's still almost half. Okay, that's getting there. So I can go with 58, and that still gets me a bed. Well, maybe it is the 60. Yeah, that's getting me, maybe I want to go back up to 65. If I go to 65, that's giving me, you know, kind of 1 and 20% of another square, like 10% on the top and the bottom. So I can go with that, and I think what we're going to do is we're going to angle this 30 degrees. 30 degrees would be for this room here. Turn on place freely as well. But this is the gist of what I want. Kind of keep it closer to that door, so that in theory you could walk around. So this can be kind of our officers' quarters, lieutenants, whatever you want to call them. We'll go to shapes. We're going to do a line again from, let's turn on the snap. Yeah, snap is still on. I'm going to pick this point to, say, this point. Yeah. And then deselect that. And do the same over here. And then we will get back to our door. Don't need terrain for this. Features, I'm sorry, back to our bed. And, you know, I think this just helps me. So that's at 37.5. 37.5. Yeah, so that's what we want. And then we're going to set this other one to also be 37.5. And then select this guy, bring it over. Okay, so if those two are at 37.5, then that means that the other one is going to have to be at 292.5? No. 322.5. Sorry, gotta remember what I'm subtracting from. 322.5. All right, there we go. So we get one like there, and the other one like that, just kind of showing, hey, there's the bed there. And then we can, you know, the captain gets his own, and his will be 300, 135. Let's start with 135. No. 135. Now it should be 135. Okay, so you can do that. And then we can select this to tweak it a little bit. And you can drag that back a little bit. All right, so we got that, and then, no, I didn't want to stay on there. Desk. We're almost there, but hopefully this is giving you a good exposure to everything about the tool. Here we're going to go with 300, I believe. So that's our desk area, but no, actually we want this to be 315 maybe, no, 225, yeah, 225 gets close, 225 gets close, and in this case, 135 gets us close. All right. So I can select each of these and just kind of be like that. I can also use my arrow keys to reposition again. And then this one here. Okay. Then a couple of chairs. Which we will just place. This one we can place, and then select this one. We will just stick down below. Oh, something happened when I placed this one. All right, select this guy. Turn it. Bring that down there. Bring this down here. So we got that level done now. And then really just the roof would be something pretty quick. We can just change, or we can add another shape on top of there with just a dashed effect. And hit, oh, I want it to be an arc oval. We do that. And in this case, we're going to change this to be this. And if I do want to keep that. Maybe actually I could do a darker. Cobblestone dark won't work, but something like a black top. Maybe what I need to do. Well, first of all, we need to fix this so that the extent is 360. So it will go all the way around. And, we can say that we've got those crenulations or whatever you want to call them. I forget what it is. I think that's the right word for it. But there you go. There's your guard tower in 50 minutes, which included me explaining the process. The only thing that we didn't do was applying the drop shadow to each level, but we've got kind of our captain and lieutenants and the guards themselves. Got that. We could add some more windows. I guess that would be the other thing to do, is to add some more windows to the other two levels. Add some arrow slits, I should say. Yeah, that would probably be the biggest thing. We've got arrow slits here. We go into features, arrow. We've got an arrow slit type thing here. And so we could add these around each of the windows, if you will. 0 degrees, yeah. So something like this. In the interest of time, though, I'm not going to add all of that, but you get the idea that it's pretty much a complete, guard tower in less than an hour, created with Worldographer. And hopefully, I showed you all the tips and tricks along the way. Those all are just base icons that are built into the tool. So there's really nothing. This could all be done in the free version. The free and the pro versions are the same software, the same download. It's just that the pro version has some extra features like expanding the map. So if we had made the map a tile short on one side or the other, we'd have to have the pro version to expand it. Or, if you wanted to stick with the free version, then you'd have to, kind of start over or live with not having an extra edge on the side there, if you will. Anyway, I hope that's helpful to y'all. Of course, subscribe and stay tuned for more videos on Inkwell Ideas products and making things with Worldographer. Thanks.